An equity purchase transaction, also called an EP transaction, takes place when the owner-occupant of a 1 to 4 unit residential property in foreclosure conveys the property to a buyer who acquires it for rental, investment, or dealer purposes. To clarify, an EP transaction does not occur if the buyer acquires the property as their personal residence. The non-occupying buyer taking title to the residence of a seller in foreclosure is called an equity purchase investor, an EP investor. Unique statutory rules apply to all equity purchase transactions, regardless of whether or not the investor is in the business of buying homes in foreclosure. Both the EP investor and their agent are to comply with EP law or be subject to penalties. Upon entering into an agreement to sell their principal residence, a seller in foreclosure has a statutory 5-business-day right to cancel the EP agreement. Thus, the seller may avoid closing the sale with or without cause. Keep this 5-day period in mind whenever you consider an EP transaction. The two things always go hand in hand. EP, 5 days. Now, EP regulation controls the type of form used to document the sale. The agreement signed by an investor will be printed in bold type and contain the required statutory notices. This is RPI Form 156, the Equity Purchase Agreement. RPI's Equity Purchase Agreement complies with all statutory requirements and properly sets forth the right of the seller in foreclosure to cancel. Failure to use the correct forms subjects the EP investor and the agents to liability for all losses incurred by the seller in foreclosure, plus further penalties. Upon expiration of the 5-day right of the seller in foreclosure to cancel the transaction, the EP investor may not accept or induce a conveyance of any interest in the property from the seller, record any document regarding the residence signed by the seller with the county recorder, transfer an interest in the property to a third party, encumber any interest in the residence, or hand the seller a good faith deposit or other consideration. There is one other time period to keep in mind in the context of an EP transaction. A 2-year right of rescission period allows a seller in foreclosure to recover their residence if there is evidence the EP investor took unconscionable advantage of them when negotiating the purchase of the property. An unconscionable advantage occurs if the EP investor or their agent exploits an element of oppression or surprise and exacts an unreasonably low and favorable purchase price or terms of payment. These are elements of fraud from threats, undue influence, or deceit. An EP investor who violates the 5-day cancellation period or takes unconscionable advantage of the seller in foreclosure is subject to imprisonment and/or a fine. Simply stay out of trouble and comply with EP law.
In a world of generic CE, it's finally time to start enjoying your real estate education. Introducing First Tuesday's video renewal course, Real Estate Made Real. California's first and only DRE-approved video-based renewal experience. Get an exclusive preview and enroll today. Be the star of your career.